October. I'm curious if it's going to happen. You might be curious as well. Are we going to go green in October for crypto, a historically green month? Is it going to happen? In this video, I'm going to break down how there could be a case that it will happen, but also on this chart, on the monthly chart for Bitcoin, I'm actually going to explain why it really doesn't matter on the macro. And I'm really going to dig into that in this video. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like, and let's get started. This is from an article, I think from today. The cryptocurrency realm witnessed a spectacle as Bitcoin soared beyond $28,000 early Monday, marking its zenith in over a month. We're going to look at Bitcoin charts. I'm going to look at ADA charts. We're going to look at Ethereum charts. You know, 3 top cryptos across the crypto space that really give us a sense of, do the bulls have what it takes? Do the bulls, are they setting up something that really could lead to a green October? The answer is yes. I'm going to show you on the charts. Analysts are attributing this bullish stride to a blend of ETF optimism and a seasonality trend that often favors the cryptocurrency market. So we're going to dig into the chart, and I just want to say something. Beside the ETF stuff, beside the seasonality of October being green, this kind of time of the year being green for crypto, besides those things, I'm thinking of things like the Coinbase SEC case. I'm thinking of things like there's talk now that there might be a subpoena sent to the SEC from Congress. I'm thinking about things like that. If headlines start dropping that are bullish, it could really play into just the simple seasonality bullishness of crypto. I just want to say that right off the bat. So let's look at this real quick before we dive into all these charts. This is October, November, and December are usually good months for crypto. That's just a data point. That's nothing else. It's not an opinion. It's just data. And if we actually look at the October column here, you can see October 2022, 5.5%, 39% in 2021. For context, from a personal standpoint, I heavily got into crypto, I would say, in 2017. And I think this is the month, October, 47% gains. I think that might be that one of those early stage months for me as a crypto person that I actually really remember. And just looking at that number, it probably is that month, October, 47%, October 2017. And just look at that, negative 3.83%. That is the only bearish month since 2014, it looks like. It was only negative 3.83% in 2018. That's what it was. So historically, October is a really green month for crypto. The question is that really going to happen again? Let's go to the monthly. And before we dig into even the short-term technical analysis that we can really see some setups for really just nice breakouts in crypto. Before we look at that, on the monthly chart on Bitcoin, I just want to show you something. And this is kind of where I say it doesn't really matter that much. So if we're looking at the Bitcoin monthly chart, obviously we are right here. There's the monthly green candle so far, kind of small right now on the screen. But I wanted to go back to the last cycle and just look at where October is. October. And of course, that was a green month right there. There's October. It's in actually from a cycle perspective, and it makes it even more interesting in my point of view as someone who does technical analysis. We're at a very similar area in terms of cycles, and these red boxes really just give us an indicator of where we are in these cycles. We're at a very similar area as where we were in the last cycle in October. But notice what happened. It was a green month for Bitcoin. But even still, it still kind of was just choppy and sideways. And then we had COVID come into play, but very choppy and sideways going into the next halving. Even if we look at the momentum oscillators that we have on standby, it's almost a perfect reflection of where we are in the RSI on the monthly. Just not overbought, not oversold, just hanging out towards the lower end kind of. And if we look at this time last cycle in October, you can see kind of not overbought, not oversold, and just consolidating, right? That's what it was doing into halving. Look at this, the stock RSI, quicker moving momentum oscillator. We had a kind of a bounce out of overbought, and here we are in October, and just look at the similarities there. A bounce out of overbought, trending down, still can be a green month for October, and then even on the MACD, if you actually look at the histogram, just flattened out right now at this point of the cycle, and a very similar thing was happening at this time last cycle, just flattening out back there on the MACD. So the momentum is so in tune in terms of what Bitcoin is doing right now. So green month, red month, we're right on pace. The thing is, even if we have a really green month, we should be very, very careful of the months that possibly follow as we do prepare to go into the next halving. There's no guarantees. We're just going to keep going up and up and up, right? We saw in the last cycle, Bitcoin consolidated after October. You can see November and December actually were red months for Bitcoin on this chart. So let's not be fooled. It's not like October, November, December are just, they're always going to give us these green candles. It's not always like that, but we can look for consolidation. But the case for a nice bullish green month for October, it kind of is here on these charts for Bitcoin. Right now, the first thing I see, right, is just bullish momentum on the RSI, higher highs, higher lows here. You can just see the momentum trending to the upside. But a really big thing is if we're looking at this chart, this is a short-term analysis. This is what I'm watching. I'm looking for a setup for a bullish October. We got resistance so far. From our video last night, we were right at this 200-day moving average when I did the video. Important just to make a note, if we go back to the Bitcoin weekly chart, we were also simultaneously at this confluent resistance of these two huge weekly moving averages, the 200 in red, the 20-week moving average in green. Big resistance right now. But if we go back to this daily chart, we're seeing resistance right now in the short term at that area, 200-day moving average, but we're getting this 20-day moving average crossing above the 50. This could be the setup for the bullish move of momentum that we want. Now, what's normal, and we see this a lot, I would say, is we get the cross above, and we obviously are getting some resistance here in the very short term. It's normal to consolidate back to these moving averages as the cross is happening or shortly after to test these areas for resistance. So even in the short term, we could get a short-term bullish setup where Bitcoin actually is trending back down, and we're looking at around $26,500 or so. That's where the 50-day moving average is. So Bitcoin could trickle down. That's $1,000 to the downside. What happens at that area is what I'd be watching for. We could have a bullish setup for Bitcoin pulling into these moving averages, but that is the area we watch for. Can those two areas provide a support area for Bitcoin? So just consolidate and then head higher, right? That's the case going into October on this daily chart, because that's what we're really looking for is can we revisit this $30,000 region for resistance? You go to something like ADA and the same type of deal is setting up, right? And we're going to look at Ethereum after this. If you look at ADA on this chart, you can see the 20 hasn't crossed above the 50. We talked about this last night, but what I really want to point out is we have the structure we also talked about in last night's video. We have lower highs, we have lower lows, but check this out, and this could be the bullish setup for October for ADA, and it's very just reflective of crypto in general. I mean, if ADA is doing really well, let's say it breaks out, it's likely that other altcoins and Bitcoin are probably doing decent as well. But check this out. We have a falling wedge on the price pattern. And then on the actual RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator, we have consolidation, which is to say lower highs on the upper end. You see this trend line, lower highs. But check this out. It's not like we have on price lower lows. So while price is putting in the lower lows, this formation is putting in higher lows. And that's some bullish divergence here on the kind of zoomed out. This is a midterm bullish divergence. So that is to say Bitcoin starts falling a little in the shorter term, beginning of October. Let's say ADA fails at the 20-day and actually starts testing this lower trend line, starts falling. Maybe we get a fake breakout to the downside of the trend line, hitting 20 cents. This RSI will be falling, but it might come all the way down to oversold area, and it's ready to bounce, right? So say ADA price is falling, it's ready to bounce, and it's still putting in bullish divergence. This could be a setup for an explosive move for ADA, and it could happen quick. It could happen within the month of October. So whether it's shorter term consolidation and then a bounce, or just kind of takes a little bit longer to the downside and then the bounce, the setup is there because we have this bullish divergence happening on this RSI. We always have to consider that the bullish divergence breaks and Bitcoin or ADA starts putting in new lows from this low on the RSI back in beginning of September. But right now, it's just what I see. The case is there. The bulls have a shot. That's all I'm going to say. The bulls have a shot to truly break out of this pattern that we see here on ADA. And Ethereum, kind of a similar type of vibe happening, actually illustrating very nicely what we just discussed on Bitcoin. We don't have the 20-day crossing above the 50-day just yet, similar to ADA. But what we do have is you can see Ethereum broke through the 20-day in green, through the 50-day in blue, and we've kind of just trickled back down to test this blue area. That's a 50-day moving average. So this is exactly what we're talking about. Just falling back down as this cross is either happening or getting ready to happen, testing these moving average areas. So support for Ethereum, for instance, right now around 1620 or 1620, right around there was where the very short-term support is. Very close to where Ethereum is right now. But this is what we'll be watching on the short term. It's the bullish setup for October. That's what we're talking about right now. It would be higher highs and higher lows for pretty much all of these cryptos. Now, if you zoom out on something like Ethereum, and probably you can do this on other altcoins, even something like ADA, if you look at the trend continuing to the downside, then it's a bit of a really uphill battle for any type of green October, because what we have is breaking all of this consolidation that has actually taken since mid-August, and we're in October now. So all of this consolidation that you see there, if Ethereum breaks this short-term support and starts falling in and putting new lows, and we're kind of in this downtrend, right, going into mid-October, well, guess what? Then we have a lot of ground to make up for very quickly in terms of turning around the momentum for a green October. But either way, one thing that I do know is when we're looking at this chart right now, we see this 20-day cruising up towards the 50-day. There is a case on the short term that Ethereum is actually getting ready to start putting in higher highs and higher lows and put that momentum through October to the upside, meaning green month. So you see this consistency. Each chart looks different. You know, Ethereum, ADA, BTC, they all move a little bit different. But at the end of the day, you can see the cases there for this move to the upside. I think that's what it would look like for each of these cryptos. All of these support areas that I talked about in this video, this is definitely more of a bullish case. The setup is there. Will the bulls take advantage? I have no idea. But all of these scenarios are very much in play. And we should just say, if all of the support fails, then guess what? Good possibility we're not going to have a green October. So CoinBureau over here, October has kicked off to a good start. And this was earlier today. Crypto market pumped more than 3% over the last 24 hours. It's believed that the primary driver, liquidation of leveraged shorts. So if we keep seeing higher highs, higher lows, we're going to see more headlines about this, liquidated shorts. October has historically been one of the best months for a crypto market. The question remains, and let me know in the comments below what you think is going to happen. Will that historically, another year, will it remain so? That's the question, everybody. Not much happening since yesterday's video, but wanted to kind of just put the case out there. The bullish setup for a green October for some of these cryptos out there. Let me know your comments and thoughts below. I appreciate you. If you're not a subscriber, make sure to hit the subscribe, hit that like, because your support truly, really means a ton to me. Every single like, I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.